guest is Pastor Walker, and the topic is the Hands of God Recovery Ministry. And of course, Reverend Walker, let's pick up where we left off the last time and give you an opportunity to talk about, in a real sense, the compassion not only of organizations like your organization and other individuals like yourself, but the compassion that either the state or the federal government or the local governments have towards some of the things that you're trying to do.
Well, right now, Dr. Haney, I don't actually find the state and local government as supportive of this type of ministry program as I would think they should be. I mean, because if you're looking at the fact that you got a problem in existence and you got different agencies, organizations, ministries or the like that are out there trying to put together, implement programs that will help that particular segment of the population, it would seem like, you would like, join in, get on the bandwagon and ride along with them. But a lot of times you find out that, especially with our Metro Council, for one thing, the number of people, they pass this ordinance, it's kind of like almost like under the table, because nobody came to the individuals that run what they call halfway houses, stuff like that, and asked our input on this thing at all. But they passed this ordinance concerning limiting the number of people that could be in any one of the locations. But now we set our places up like residential housing, and I don't think there's a limit on how many people you can have in your family, but yet they come up with this, and I can understand in part why they would do something like that, because there are some flop houses out here. People that are looking at this, and people are trying to gain financially off of the misfortunes of other people, and they just try to get in it for money, and they set up any kind of old rat, roach-infested place somewhere, and that's what the council's idea was. Let's shut them down. But my thing is, go directly to them and shut them down. Don't blanket this thing, whereas the people like myself and other programs that are really trying to help people, that's really got a structured program, that's really got programs within their program, in their places, don't go at them. And then they got this thing now, I'm not sure if it's passed or not, or if they're trying to get it through. But there's a thing about, now they want to require that you put sprinkler systems in these locations. Now, Dr. Haney, again, they're not requiring just your regular families to put in a sprinkler system. I think it's set up, why not support us in what we're doing? We meet the fire code. We got the smoke detectors. We got the fire extinguishers and stuff like that in there. We're meeting all of that. Most of your average homes don't have a smoke detector in them, or definitely not a fire extinguisher. They may have a smoke detector, but not a fire extinguisher. But we have those in our places, and I think that the metro and state should support that. But you find out a lot of times that they fight against you. I had an issue one time with the Department of Probation and Parole. We've since formed a coalition called Transitional Living Coalition, Transitional Living Coalition, TLC, and we had a meeting with the people at Probation and Parole, and at that particular meeting, they had agreed to, put my house and my program back on the approved list, because, Dr. Haney, I had opened up like 7 houses specifically designed for people coming out of the prison system. Of course, you would think that, hey, they'd be glad you got that going on. You're on the approved list and everything, but they crossed me off of that. But we've sit down, and I think we've come to terms with that, and we're going to get back on the list as far as that goes. Now, then you got our new mayor that was just been sworn in, Mayor Carl Dean. We had a meeting with him prior to the election. He met with our coalition. It was set up, and we met with him, and I think he's got a heart. He's got a heart for what we're doing, because we wanted to find out where he stood on this particular issue, because we don't want, because you got Purcell that was in office that signed off on this bill limiting the number of people, and you got the Homeless Power Project out here pushing, trying to get more and more housing and stuff put together and all kind of things. So you definitely want a mayor that's going to be in your corner and that's going to help you to carry out your mission and your purpose, because the roadblocks shouldn't come from state government. The roadblocks shouldn't come from Metro Council. That should be our support system right there. They should be supporting us. But I believe we're going to be able to create that relationship with them. I believe that in the formation of this new coalition that we're in the formation of it right now, I think it's going to make a difference, because it's going to include different agencies that are doing the same thing, coming together as a group, as a block. And I think, there's power in it, in numbers.
You mentioned this coalition. Now, there's a real problem, I think, that we have in this city dealing with the homeless. Speak to that. I mean, how does your organization deal with the, I know you deal with people who are coming directly out of the prison system, and some of those, I guess, could indeed end up homeless, and etc. But in terms of the general homeless population, what are some of the things that you think that you need in order to be much more effective in dealing with, because you're already there, working.
Right.
What do you need to be much more effective in dealing with the individuals that come to you?
Well, of course, your number one need is going to always be finance. You're going to always need finance because it's hard to meet people's needs that don't have any money if you don't have money. You know, if you get people that, you know, that come and check out your program, see what you're doing, and then, you know, commit to, you know, sowing seed in, because we get no funding from the government. We get no funding from the state. As a matter of fact, Dr. Haney, you know, as a minister, having a ministry, a Christian ministry, I don't want any funding from the government. I don't want it, because I kind of feel like somewhere down the line, that's a trap. You know, I think they dangle that money carrot out there. So many people are reaching and grabbing and stuff, but at the same time, they're telling you how to do what you do. And I can't get my instructions from them. I got to get my instructions from God. So I don't want that in that particular sense. But welcome any kind of contribution or donation from any private citizen that would help. You know, I mean, if somebody just donates some clothes, some personal hygiene items, you know, especially personal hygiene items, some food items and stuff like that. Because if somebody come in and I can give them some food right away, you know, for their very own, instead of having to be fed by the other people in the house until they can get a food box or until they can get on their food stamp and get it started.
And it's that bad in terms of the food that's available. What about some organizations like Harvest?
Second Harvest?
Second Harvest. I mean, I would imagine, are they simply overwhelmed with it? Or what?
Well, we can plug them into Second Harvest and you know, get them a food box, you know, in most situations. But then sometimes, you know, you got people that have come in and they've been somewhere else and they've already got their allotted amount of boxes and they can't get any more, you know, so now you still got a situation where the person still has to eat. You know, Second Harvest is doing a great work and they're making sure some things are happening. But at the same time, you know, if we got food in-house, then we don't have to send them to Second Harvest and let somebody else go to Second Harvest and get that, and we can provide that food and take that burden off of Second Harvest, you know, just by simply having people that would donate, you know, food items, personal hygiene items, things like that.
Well, you've had a better chance, I think, Reverend Walker, to see this than most of us. Would you say that there is a real hunger problem in Nashville?
A hunger problem?
Yeah, hunger problem.
I would think so.
Is that a real problem?
I would think so. I mean, I don't know the stats on it or anything like that. But just by visualizing
how you work and the kind of folks that you deal with. Coming, so you think that there's a real?
Oh, definitely, definitely. You know, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of programs, a lot of things that goes on. People say, well, let's go overseas and let's do this and let's help this country, let's do this and let's do that. But there's so much poverty and stuff right here in existence, right here in our own communities. And there's another thing, Dr. Haney, with how to finance the mortgage companies did these adjustment rate mortgages. Now so many people are losing their houses.
That's having an impact. You see that as having an impact.
Oh, absolutely. That's going to create a whole. It's going to create a whole other level of homelessness in our society. So somebody's got to meet that need. So, you know, prayerfully, you know, somebody consider, you know, helping the Hands of God Recovery Ministries meet that need, because we got to meet that need, because it's going to be there. It's the problem is already created. You know, people are already in the process of losing their homes, and it's creating a whole addition to the homeless population.
People that are already without homes.
Oh yeah.
Now they're not. And these individuals had an opportunity for a while to really be out of the need food kind of situation now, and they find themselves back into that same situation. That's what we're saying.
Absolutely. When you look at that, and company closing, people losing their job, company moving over, you know, companies are closed down and move to Mexico and leave a whole workforce without a job, without the financial means necessary to support their families, and then they got these mortgages to pay on top of it. Man, it's just a bad situation, and ministries are needed. And our goal is to operate in every major city in the United States of America. That's our vision, that's our mission, that's our purpose, that's our goal, and that's what we're going to do.
That's a real need. I mean, even in great America, where, in the land of the free and the home of the brave, etc., we still find that this whole problem of poverty is just as bad now as it was in earlier times. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just as bad. You know, it's out here, and a lot of times, a lot of people are living in poverty, and you don't know, because they won't step to the front because of pride or what have you is keeping them from doing that, because at one point, you know, they were the blue collar and they had things going on. It was happening, and then they lose the job, and a sickness hit the family or something like that, and then they start losing. They've got to come somewhere.
And so in the last few seconds that we have here, there ought to be a national effort on the part of the government, state, federal, and local governments to do something about poverty in America.
I think so, but deeper than that, I think it ought to hit home in the church. I think the church needs to step up.
Very good. And of course, let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.
By volunteering his